I'm not lying. We're not going to talk about it. The draft is coming in 3 weeks. The big money free agents are pretty much gone. And it's just bargain shopping from here on out for the Packers. So, what is the state of the Packers roster right now? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Packer Mentality Podcast. I am your host, Patrick Corrigan. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a little while. A few changes have been made, and there are still more to come. I want to give a big shout out, a big thank you to my sister who gave me the sign that you see right behind my head, which I absolutely love. The Packers roster has taken a pretty big hit since the end of the last season. Let's take a quick look today at where things stand. Players they've kept, and it's mostly guys that play on special teams, bid role players, but mostly guys that were important to special teams. Re-signed Tyler Davis, tight end. Corey Ballantyne, cornerback. Wide receiver, kick returner Keelan Cole. Safety Rudy Ford, who could compete for a starting job at safety. Eric Wilson, linebacker. Dallin Levitt, safety. Those guys all played big roles on special teams last year, so they all returned. So hopefully the special teams will continue to get better. They also re-signed Justin Hollins, who they picked up during the season last year. He's a rotational edge rusher. Did a pretty good job in the snaps he got last season. Packers also signed Josh Nijman to his tendered contract. He'll be returning, possible starter at offensive tackle. And I think most importantly to the special teams, and also as a cornerback, coming back, all-pro kick returner, Keyshawn Nixon. Extremely happy to have him back. Players they've lost. Wide receiver Alan Lazard signed with the Jets. Tight end Robert Tonyan signed with the Bears. Defensive lineman Jerron Reed with the Seahawks. Linebacker Chris Barnes with the Cardinals. Dean Lowry, defensive lineman, signed with the Vikings. Unsigned so far, Adrian Amos, their starting safety, or one of them. Mason Crosby, the kicker. Randall Cobb, who might not have been a starter technically, did play a significant role and had a lot of snaps. And Mercedes Lewis also played a significant role in the offense last season. They will also, sometime in the next few months, have an opening for a quarterback, probably a backup. Now, two new names to the Packers that they did sign, and I do believe these guys are mostly special teams guys. Definitely a special teams guy. Long snapper Matt Orzech comes over from the Rams. He's been around a few years, experience in the league snapping for the Rams. And safety Tarvarius Moore comes over from the 49ers. He was a third-round pick in 2018, but has not been able to crack their starting lineup as a preferred starter. He has started some games, but pretty much due to injuries. He started 8 games in 2020 because of injuries, was hurt all of 2021 because he tore his Achilles, and last season only 41 snaps on defense and was pretty much a special teams player only. So did not fill really much of any of the vacancies left by guys leaving. We will still have a lot of snaps available at wide receiver. There are definitely 2 openings there. Definitely huge void at tight end. Your 2 most important, well, I won't say most important, but 2 significant starters at tight end. 2 defensive linemen that played a lot of snaps last season. Missing one of your safeties now. You're missing a backup linebacker. And as I mentioned, backup quarterback. That is a pretty good shopping list with the draft coming up. The Packers will need to find some guys in the draft that will have to step in right away because they really don't, or after a certain trade takes place, won't have a lot of money to spend on free agents, even at bargain rates. I'll be digging a little deeper into the position groups over the next couple weeks because the Packers can't just fill empty roster spots. They have some areas that just need upgrades over what they already have on the roster. We'll talk about that next week. Until then, have a great weekend, have a happy Easter, and go Pack Go.